everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going lovely. I'm so glad you're joining me for another 5 Easy Step card. Today we're making a lavender with bumblebee card. We're using a die set from Spellbinders. That's going to be our background, it's going to be our home panel, and it's also going to be a focal point. So kind of all-inclusive set. This is from, it's called Simple Vintage Lavender Fields Hexagons. Spellbinders created this to go with the Lavender Fields collection from Simple Stories. So I thought we'd put this to good use and create a 5 Easy Step card with this. I'm bringing in an older die set or Stampin' die set from Spellbinders also for my greeting. This is the Simply Said stamp set. This came out in December as a club kit, but really any greeting you have would work as long as it would fit in the smallest hexagon here. So you can customize it however you'd like. We're going to use this on our card today also. So let's jump in with step number 1 and create our focal image, which will be the lavender and the bumblebee. This is all there is to the die set. So it's perfect. The nice thing about the hexagons, let me show you real quick before we jump into our focal point. But the hexagons, there's 3 different sizes. And then there's 3 different sizes of stitch detail. This just adds stitch detail. So when you layer them together, you could have a stitched hexagon. If you don't want to add this, you don't have to. So this just adds stitch detail. And I love dies like that because you could do so much with them. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. Real quickly, I wanted to show you that. Let's create our bumblebee with some black cardstock. We're going to make 2 bumblebees. So we'll cut this out. And then this goes behind the bumblebee. And I need some yellow cardstock. Let me go grab some. Okay. We'll cut that out twice. Using white cardstock, we'll cut out the wings a couple of times. And I do want a little extra flutter to my card. So I'm going to bring in a piece of vellum. And we're going to cut out a set of white leaves and a set of vellum leaves. And then we have our foliage, our lavender stems. We're going to cut these out with some peridot cardstock. You know, I think I may cut this out one more time, and we'll do 3. I always like to use my scraps up here. And I think I can get away with 1 more on here. So I'll cut out 3 leaves. And then as far as the lavender goes, there's 2 pieces that layer together. I'm going to cut out purple. I'll cut out 2 of these, and then 1 and 1. Okay, then we can mix and match them. I'm going to run these through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And then we're going to create our bumblebee first. It's very easy to do, but I do want to add a little bit of shading to the yellow. I already did 1 bumblebee, and you can see how just adding shading to one side gives it a little bit extra depth. So let's bring in my shader brushes. And I'm just going to add ink to one side, kind of heavy. Okay, while we're inking, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra color to the lilac stems. Let me grab my green. I'm using my Simon Says Stamp Field ink for that. For my bumblebee, I used honey. Okay, let's add a little bit of green. To create the bumblebee, it's very easy. You just flip the body on the reverse side, and then you can add little dots of glue behind the stripes. Then you can flip it over and add the body behind it. It will line up beautifully. Okay, now as far as the wings go, what I'm going to do is add a little dot of glue. I'm going to layer the vellum wing on top of the white. There we go. So this is the top of the bumblebee. Now you can add the wings 2 ways. You can add it now and then add this piece on top like this. Actually, you'd want to flip them around so the wings are facing down. I think that would look better. Okay, you can add your wings, and then you can take this piece and put it right on top, and then you have a little dimension with your bumblebee. Or you could just layer this on here and then put this behind your bumblebee. Okay, so there's really no right or wrong. I'm going to actually put it behind my bumblebee. So we'll add a dot of glue, and then I can add this here. Add another dot of glue, and then we can add our bumblebee's wings here. And I do like to fluff up those wings for a little extra flutter, and then we'll put foam tape behind them. But that's all there is to our bumblebee. Now as far as our flowers goes, there's a short piece and a long piece. The long piece has the very top of the lavender, and I'm going to put the short piece over the long piece. Right down the middle here. I'm going to add a little dot of glue at the bottom, and then we can add our stem right over the top of that. And look how pretty. That's all there is to our lavender. Gorgeous. We'll do the same thing here. That's all there is to our focal point. I'm going to put these to the side, and then we're going to move on to step number 2, which is our home panel. We're going to die cut out some white cardstock, and then also some beeswax cardstock from Spellbinders. And I'm going to go from the smallest. Okay, the smallest, I guess I could zoom back out. I'm a little close. Sometimes I forget to zoom back out. Okay, we're going to take the smallest die cut, and then we're going to add the smallest stitch detail on the inside. So when I cut this out, this is going to have a stitch detail on it. And then with my beeswax cardstock, I'm going to take the middle size hexagon, and then we're going to die cut this out. I'm going to glue this on here, but before I do that, I am going to add a little bit of yellow highlight. I'm going to grab my honey ink and my blending brush, and we're just going to ink up one edge, one side of this, just like we did the bumblebee. I think it'll add a nice little interest. And then that's all we're doing. Let's glue this down. I'm going to put this with our focal point, and then now we're going to move on to step 3 and create our greeting. For my greeting, we're going to use the Simply Said stamp set, and I'm going to stamp Thinking About You today. I'll stamp it on some white cardstock. And then I do have the coordinating die since it is a stamp and die set. I think this is it. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape behind here, and then we're going to grab our focal point, and we're going to take our home panel, and we're going to go ahead and build all 3 of these layers. Okay, I'm going to add my greeting first. We'll just pop it up and put it here, and then I'm going to add my lavender. Okay, now we can add our little bumblebees. We'll put one up here, and I think I'm going to put one down here. Okay, we'll put this to the side and work on our next step, which is our background. Let's move on to step number 4. I'm taking a lighter yellow A2 panel. I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4 inches by 5. And I'm going to bring back our die set, and we're going to just take the stitched dies here. There's 3 of them. So you have this one, and then this one. I'm not going to take the small, well, yeah, we can take the smallest. We're going to use all 3 of these. And what I want to do is add some stitch detail to the background. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and it'll add stitch detail here. And then I'll take the same die set and add it to the top on this corner. Okay, and then I'm going to remove the largest, And then I'll add a little in this open area and this open area. I'll add these two in the corner. So we're going to kind of fill in the background with hexagons. So I will do that and I'll be right back. So I ran it through 4 times. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So each of the corners, so we have some of that stitch detail. I just think this looks amazing. Okay, after this is done, I did take an A2 panel of my fog cardstock and I put it on my card base. So this is not white, it's fog. And then we're going to adhere this to the front of our card base. And that's all we're doing for our background. We'll put this in the middle, kind of framing it. Lovely. Now I'm going to take my home panel, we're going to flip it around, we're going to put some foam tape behind here. Before we add this, I think I'm going to add some twine. Okay, I'm going to bring in some of my white twine. And then I'm going to wrap it around here. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. That's a good number. Now I'm not going to tie a bow with this. I'm just going to knot it. And that just was not a good knot. Okay, we got to fix that. Okay. Okay, I attached it with my tape runner. Okay, I'm not worried about it being open because we're going to add our home panel right over it. Let's just adjust these strings a little bit. Okay, let's move along to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. Now, we already embellished with a little bit of twine. I'm going to bring back some more, and then I'm just going to tie a bow with it. And we're going to add the bow on top here with a glue dot. I'm going to add it just at the bottom of this lavender piece. I think that's a good spot. Okay, and then I'm also going to bring in some gems. These are Spellbinders Prism AB gems. They're like, they have an iridescent purpley blue hue to it that goes really good with lavender. I'm going to go ahead and add a few. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to bring in my glaze and glue. If you guys are new, glaze and glue is from Spellbinders. You can actually glue with this. It works great. But it's basically like glossy accents. So whatever you add it to, it's going to go on a little bit cloudy, and then it will dry clear, just like glossy accents. And I'm going to add it to the base of my bumblebee. Okay, wonderful. And then that finishes my 5 Easy Step card today. It looks a little bulky because my lavender is popping up, but it will actually flatten out. You could glue it down if you want, but I kind of like the free-flowing look. But it's really not too bulky. But thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.